Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is episode 22 of All That Glitters, a Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign that happens every Monday night, except when it doesn't, right here at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain. It's been a minute. I believe by my calculations, it's been more like a month since we got together and played this game. If you were paying attention in the intro, you will see that Cassie finally made it into the introduction. We are absolutely happy to have her now officially one of the cool kids. You will also notice, well, you might notice that things don't quite work the way they used to. In part because we just wrapped up, as many of you may know, a week of streaming for Jasper's Game Day. We called it Jasper's Game Week, and from Sunday through Thursday, 5 days, 40 hours, 15 games, just over 75 participants. We raised $5,350 for Jasper's Game Day and the American Association of Suicidology. All of that money going into being distributed around the country where needed to fund crisis centers for suicide awareness and prevention. Something that is very important. It was an incredible week with some emotional highs, and just, I don't want to say emotional lows because there weren't really any lows, but there were some times where things got a bit raw. We had a game where one of the players had lost a member of their home group to suicide, and we had a memorial seat at that table for that game. Yeah, so the Jasper's Game dice, domain dice that are lingering here, are mostly because I haven't had a chance to change the graphics out, but they're pretty cool dice, pretty representative of, as I've said leading up to this whole thing, is that Mini Terrain Domain is a permanent partner with Jasper's Game Day. You will find a permanent link down below the stream that links to Jasper's Game Day. And for all of this week, for the games that we run here, I'm leaving it so that if you make a donation using the donation link down below, it will link directly to the fundraising through Tiltify that should still be active. So if you do make a donation, that will go directly to Jasper's Game Day, not to me. That's only true for donations. I say that because, as per usual, we have our domain dice, which I have to recreate the crawl too. Yet another thing that disappeared in this process. Domain dice, as many of you know, are good for re-rolls. They're a little bit different than the way they worked in Jasper's Game Day. Typing domain dice in the chat won't do anything because I had to turn that off because they were $20 for Jasper's. They are not that anymore. $5 donation, 500 bits, raids, resubscriptions, all of those kind of things will earn domain dice. One domain dice lets any one of us, except Mike, reroll our die and take the new roll. 2 dice allows us to force the DM, Mike, to reroll his dice. 3 domain dice lets us use hit dice outside of resting to regain some hit points. 4 domain dice turn a failed death saving throw into a success. Unless it's a critical fail, then it takes 8 domain dice. And the patron's blessing, 5 domain dice can be spent to turn a hit into a super crit, which is automatic double max damage. So keep that in mind. Things are just a little bit off from the way they are usually in terms of the visual presentation. But we'll get things back in order soon. I think I do want to mention, while we're talking about Jasper's, there is a link down below for Metade Roast Coffee through the Initiative Coffee Company. That is a blend of Brazilian and Peruvian coffees, a medium roast. For every 12-ounce bag purchased from Initiative Coffee's Help Action, $3 of that goes directly to funding Jasper's Game Day and the American Association of Suicidology. As I said, they are a forever partner. I think that is probably all I have for announcements. It's been a while since we've kind of been in the swing of this thing for the game, so thank you for everybody who's tuning in. Mike is actually, I think I have to look this way. Mike is the dungeon master for this campaign, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mike to bring us up to speed and get us back into this so we can play some Dungeons and Dragons for a couple hours. Mike, take it away.
I didn't take notes like a month ago. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, you guys are fighting, I think, like 6 beholders and 4 ancient dragons. And I don't know. Someone in chat can roll me a 1d4. No, you know, I just did 2. You're fighting 2 cybernetic vampiric Tarrasques that can also fly and have F-35s.
That tracks.
I'm kidding.
Oh, Mike, real quick.
Much.
I just remembered what it was. And this is important.
Oh.
Because of Jasper's Game Day and us being partnered with Jasper, I have added a chat command that we want you to know that there are people out there that will talk to you if you find yourself faced with depression and you need somebody to talk to. At any time, you can type !help, as Chesic Student has just done in the chat, and that will bring up the National Suicide Hotline, or National Helpline. Yeah, sorry, the National Suicide Hotline at 1-800-273-TALK, 1-800-273-8255, or you can text 741-741. Simply type help in the chat, and that will bring that up. Now you may take it away, sir.
No problem. But thank you. And yes, definitely, if you need to talk to someone, don't wait. Don't think that you've got it yourself. You know, I'm coming up on a year of losing one of my really good friends to PTSD. Him, like myself, were soldiers in the Canadian Armed Forces, and he couldn't handle it as much as we tried. You know, it's the kind of thing that if you need something, you talk, because you are not weak. You are not weak if you cannot, you know, handle it yourself. There is nothing wrong with that. You know, like as soldiers, and as if any of you are also members of whatever armed forces from whatever country you reside in, you know that no one is a one-person army. We all work together. So if you've got something that you need help on, go for it. No one's going to think less of you. I wouldn't think less of you. No one with a brain would ever think less of you. So, you know, if you need to talk to someone, anyone is going to be willing to help you out. So with that, just carry on. So before we get into what is happening, does anyone want to do it? Because I can do it. And if I do a recap, don't worry, I'm not going to, because I know we haven't done it in a while, but I can do the recap, and I won't even take any points of inspiration for it. So if no one feels comfortable with it, I can do this.
I mean, I could pop in with a few things, maybe.
Okay, sure. Okay.
So, in the last episode, Asche finally awoke from the cart incident, ran into a young gnomish woman who was trying to help her find the muddy paws, and instead she did make her way back to the group, and I believe the North Ward, the inn. Is that right?
In the Nobody's Inn?
Yes. Nobody's Inn in the North Ward. They came across a number of cloaked figures, brown cloaks, red and yellow cloaks as well. Yellow we thought might be like higher ups. They eventually went to Carter's Way and Specter's Walk, the corner of Carter's Way and Specter's Walk, where they came across a warehouse that was supposed to go to Xanthar's lair in the Southern Ward. They found a hidden staircase which led to a sewer access, and Asche saw some weird kind of spindly symbol circle with like little spikes coming out different directions. And upon going down into the sewer and following that symbol, they found a hallway with odd bricks at either side. They came across Drugar as well, and this beholder, not machine. What was it called? It looked like a beholder. They weren't sure. They weren't really sure what it was. Anna got injured. She's in a tough spot right now. And I think the last thing we determined is that the beholder isn't a real beholder, it's a construct. That's what I got, I think.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you 1 point of inspiration for that, and I'll just fill in the blanks. So
Please.
as you, no problem. As you had woken up, your friends were gone. You had no idea. You had moved. You were covered in mushed up apples and broken pieces of wood. You were thankfully helped out by a young woman who kind of recognized you as a fire Ganassi. You kind of seem to stand out, and realizing that you are a young woman who's been looking for the Muddy Paws, she kind of leads you there. She leads you to this kind of area where she says, that's the Muddy Paws, but you can't go in because there's something wrong. And many people, quite a few individuals wearing these cloaks covering their faces were kind of moving around, but you had to wait for a moment to kind of see it, because everything seemed to have been like abandoned, but there are still individuals there. And the young woman had told you that there's something wrong, be careful, and to come back later. But if you could get some information, she would be really grateful, as she's trying to build a case against this place that just seems out of sorts. As you relay this information to the rest of the party, you finally, like the rest of you, finally gather up and get ready to go down to the southern ward and to track down this strange lair underneath the city in this kind of area of the sewers, the Xanathar hideout, which seems to be kind of the case. As you go down and go in, you're met with the stench of raw sewage and mold. As you walk through, you pass over a little stone bridge and you kind of shoot off into this kind of large kind of like off pipe that has been feeding raw sewage into this area. Trudging through the sewage up to your shins, you get to a spot where you see two sections on either side, and each one these bricks seem to be out of place. And sure enough, as you pick one of them and push, it seems to just swivel unto itself. And stepping inside, you see 3 Duragar lording over a dwarf who seems to be fixing some sort of a automaton, very much in the shape of a beholder. The Duragar yelling, but of course one of them turns and looks, noticing a change in the air. You fight the Duragar, defeat them, but Anna is hurt very, very badly. And towards the end of the session, you begin to hear scratching like nails on brick. And that's where we end things off, that something is coming toward you. Now, before we begin, are there any questions? Nope. All right. Let's drive forward into your doom. The scratching begins to get louder and louder as what sounds to be several pairs of feet from the far end of the room that you're currently in. It seems to be getting closer and closer. What are the 4 of you doing right now?
Bevyn runs over to Anna to check on her. She seems pretty hurt. You okay?
Anna is literally doubled over, gasping for air. I'm fine. I just can't get stabbed again, preferably.
You know, it is okay for you to admit when you need help. Because you won't be able to do so when you are bleeding out onto the ground or unconscious or something rips you into pieces. Then you can't ask for help. It's too late.
Well, hopefully I won't need to ask for help because you'll see that I am in need of some help. And she's like just doubled over.
I'm seeing that you are in need of help, but you are saying you are okay. And
Look,
I'm going to walk up.
I know you like to argue, but can you hear what's coming?
Oh my god. Does anybody have a potion?
Look, I've got you covered. You don't even have to ask for it. Here, let me help you up. And as I sort of kind of grab you like by the elbows to pull you into an upright position, I am casting Cure Wounds at 2nd level. So you will get let's see, what is my spellcasting modifier? Ooh, +7. So that's going to be 2d8. So I am healing you for 14 points.
Oh wow.
There. You should already you have some color coming back. You should feel a little better now.
Mike, while he's doing that, Bevyn's going to look around. Can I tell which direction the noise is coming from? Is there a hallway or anything that I can see that it's coming from?
Yeah, in the section where the room used to be, or the room is, and there used to be a wall that is now has been broken to kind of expand the room, you can hear it coming from there. You can see just in the, like, just out of the darkness, you can look to see like kind of one section of darkness where it's a bit darker. So it seems to be that there might be either a tunnel or a corridor just in that direction in front of you.
And it sounds like something is coming towards us, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any, looking around, is there anything that can be pushed or dropped in front of that opening to?
No, the opening is way too wide.
Too big. Okay.
Yeah, it's like basically a section of wall, and then someone's just taken like a sledgehammer to the brickwork and just knocked it over. So I mean, there's still rubble all over the place.
So I want to take up residence near behind anything that would provide cover between me and the door.
Sure, you can see like a few crates, a couple of like damaged crates, but some are still standing. You can probably take cover around there.
Okay.
As you go to take cover, the scrabbling gets louder and louder until finally you see two small goblins kind of rush in. Each one of them has their short bow and an arrow knocked in it, and they kind of draw it out, and they're just kind of looking at the four of you. Well, I guess three of you. They can't really see you, Bevyn, too well. And they're just kind of looking. They're not firing, but they're just looking at both of you, and they're kind of, or the three of you, and they're just kind of aiming it back and forth between the three of you.
I think we could take him.
Absolutely. I think Asche, as more of a reflex at seeing them just coming through the broken wall, would like to cast Firebolt. Cantrip. Where are my dice? Okay. Oh. Dang. 12. It's only a 12.
The one goblin kind of ducks its head as the firebolt, little like kind of thing of fire just kind of sails, kind of spinning, corkscrewing in the air like a kind of like a football, and just lands and just kind kind of puffs out. The goblins kind of turn on their heels. Actually, I'm going to need to make
what? Oh wait. What is our initiative if we are in initiative right now?
You're not in initiative yet.
Oh dang. Okay.
So that's one. One of them, the one that you just narrowly missed with your firebolt, kind of turns and begins to run away. It is having none of the fact that that it's outnumbered. The last one kind of stands there for a moment and shouts something in Goblin and begins to run after the other one. Both of them kind of just take off. You are now in the room. I will re-describe the room, just for the sake of memory. You see what looks to be this once was a cellar to whatever building is now on top of it. It is filled with rubble, broken brick, some broken crates. Some of them are still full. You see what looks to be it's like very, very thick. Like the air is thick and dusty. There are there looks to be two ways that you could go, or actually 3 ways, really, 4 ways technically. You could go like directly in front. You see what looks to be kind of a few steps that go down into what looks to be another chamber. To your right-hand side, you see where the dwarf that was working on it ran out. And last time you had heard him go up some stairs, like you could hear the sound of him running up some wooden stairs and then disappearing. To your left is where the goblins just booked back out from. And of course, behind you is back into the raw sewage bath. Everyone loves a raw sewage bath.
Are we going to just let them get away?
I suppose we shouldn't. Sorry, I missed that shot. And Asche just looks a little frustrated again.
I'm going to use... I'm going to take off after the goblins. And I'm going to use my feline agility, which will allow me to move 2 times my normal speed. So I'm going to be able to move 60 feet towards them.
All right.
As I take off running through the door they went through, and I'm going charging after them.
All right. What about the rest of you?
I'll follow suit. Not as quickly, but I'm going.
Yeah, same with Anna.
Bevyn is going to take a quick look at this beholder thing on the ground to see. Just give me a cursory look and see if I notice anything.
Sure, not a problem. Give me a perception check.
15.
Okay. You notice that this seems to look very much like many of the floats you saw during the parade. It seems to have a few wards and sigils that possibly cause it to float. As you kind of give a quick look at the different eye stalks, you see there's just like colored glass lenses. And you're not a dumb person. You kind of figured if this thing was a float or something intended to go into a parade, obviously this thing isn't going to be dangerous. Like it's not going to be shooting lasers or death rays into the crowd. So you think it's probably just shooting lights and everything else just to kind of ooh and ah the crowd sort of a thing.
Okay. I'll after giving it a once over, I'll continue and follow the others. 2 steps
Sure.
behind.
Sure, not a problem. Now, what about you, Anna?
Anna is also going to follow, and once she is within 50 feet of one, she wants to throw a dagger.
Okay. Well, since the first person that's going to be running out is going to be you, Six, are you just running after him?
I am. You know what? With this kind of cat speed and darting after goblins in the sewer, I'm 100% going to pounce on the first one I can and tackle him to the ground.
Okay. Are you trying to be stealthy, or are you just running after him?
Oh no, I'm 100%. This is like cat chasing a mouse and attacking it. Like as soon as I'm able to leap towards it, I'm going to leap towards the nearest goblin and try to tackle it to the ground.
Okay. So you run, you go through the remnants of the broken wall, over the brickwork. You very quickly see the corridor that they probably had run. As soon as you round the corner, goblins aren't incredibly dumb. They are going to attack you with their short bows.
Is it just the two of them? Or is this a Han Solo chasing the stormtroopers moment?
You're about to find out.
I didn't think about that until this very moment.
On a total side note, I'm going to need more D20s. No,
This special edition or original cut?
Oh, dang.
I believe it's the machete cut. Okay, so... Ooh. Well, all right then. So, what's your AC?
100.
I see.
14.
All right. Well, I got a dirty 20, and I've got a 23 to hit.
Those are both going to hit.
You're gonna take a couple arrows, and one of them is going to be 7 points of piercing damage, and the other one is going to be 4 points of piercing damage. So you take 11 points of piercing damage altogether.
Okay.
And now we're going to go roll initiative.
I don't know why I'm making an initiative list. All I got to do is roll dice.
I know, right? That's my job.
I will use this new Kraken die.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
Wait a
My
minute.
system crashed.
No. What?
I mean, hey.
Oh, that's fine.
You know.
We can adjust. Did he just apologize as his system was crashing?
Yep.
Wow, you know what? We're Canadianifying him. That's kind of cool.
Oh, there he is.
No, I turned my camera off because I crashed and came back.
Oh.
So apparently you didn't notice.
All right.
Did we roll initiative?
We're rolling initiative, yeah.
Right.
Megan and Dwight, turn your cameras off. And then nope. Actually, Dwight, you were fine. Turn yours back on, then Megan.
I'm at 21 on initiative.
I'm being accused or called in the chat Leroy Jenkins.
That's accurate.
I accept that.
Sorry, you got a 21, Bevyn?
Correct.
Okay. And then Ash. Then
This initiative roll and calculation is brought to you by Metade Roast Coffee, available now at Initiative Coffee Company. You can click the link down below.
All right. Okay, so first up in the initiative order, we have Anna. You're thinking you're probably now about 30 feet away from where 6 actually is. You can't see any of the goblins, even with your superior dark vision. So I assume you're going to do nothing else but run up to him. And as you run up to him, you see both goblins there, their bows now empty, but they are using 6 as their own personal quiver.
She is definitely, without hesitation, going to take a swipe at them.
Well, as you can go up to where 6 is, goblins are still another 15, 20 feet away from the from 6, yeah.
Okay, so she's actually going to throw some daggers then at them.
All right, then.
Well, one dagger, but that's going to be 21.
Yeah, it hits. Okay. Yeah, come on now.
I don't know. They did a bunch of damage. They might be mega goblins.
One could only wish.
So that's going to do 7 points of damage.
All right. It strikes home straight into its kidneys, or at least into that area, and it's really, really hurt. Matter of fact, it's staggered. It drops its bow, and it's not looking too hot. Bevyn, you are up next.
All right. So I will pull up, maybe about 20 feet short of the goblins, and I'm going to shoot at them with my short bow.
Sounds good. There are 2. One looks hurt. One looks fine.
The fine one.
All right.
That is a natural 20.
Whoa. Well then.
So, yeah.
I would like to use a domain dice to make him reroll.
All right. So, max plus 3.
Actually, more importantly, just going to assume that it's going to be probably more than 10.
It was exactly 1 more than 10. So,
all right. So how do you finish this one off? You take this one.
No, this is Bevyn just runs up and in kind of this one motion, and his last 2 steps he reaches down and grabs arrow, pulls and knocks, and then plants his left leg, and just as soon as he draws back, he's letting go, and the arrow just right through the goblin's eye and then right out the back, completely through and through. Just pulls some viscera out the back of his skull and clatters off the wall.
All right, yeah, its whole body goes rigid, and it just falls like straight back and just hits the ground. The one goblin drops its bow, pulls out its scimitar, and then goes straight after you, Bevyn. And it's not very happy. But it's still very hurt, but it's pretty PO'd. All right, and that's going to be a 14 to hit. Sorry?
That does hit, yes.
All right. And just swinging wildly, it connects, doing 6 points of slashing damage, as it seems to, instead of like going across, it actually goes down and rakes across your thigh, cutting it pretty deeply. Asche, you are now up.
What was the damage on that again, Mike?
Oh, sorry. It was it was 3. Sorry, that was wrong. That was 5 points, I think, of slashing damage. I think I said 5, but
okay.
Yeah. So, Asche, you are up.
Asche, on her way to that whole Goblin Massacre, is actually going to cast Mage Armor on herself. Which means her AC becomes 13 plus her dexterity. So she's going to be at a whopping 15 armor class.
You know, hey, I think Mage Armor is a great spell. It is highly underutilized. A lot of people don't like think about, hey, maybe I should put like Mage Armor on so I'm way more beefier. A lot of people don't do that.
And it lasts for a long time, so I think it's the right move.
It's like, what, it's like 4 8 hours or so? It's ridiculous.
Yes, 8 hours.
Yeah, it's like a whole working day. You're like, suddenly you've got like magic full plate on that isn't really full plate. I mean, so yeah. All right. And that brings us down to you, 6.
I imagine as I came around this corner and got pelted with these couple of arrows that I kind of, there's that momentary stutter step where it sort of caused me to tumble and lose all momentum. I'm just checking. Yes, I do. And seeing just how everybody else has kind of caught up to me and is doing their own damage, I'm going to do something I've never done before and kind of just picking myself up a little bit. I'm going to reach into my belt, grab my dagger, and throw it at the one that's still standing.
All right. Roll to hit.
If Anna can do this, so can I.
If you whiff it, I'm gonna laugh.
I am 100% using a domain die to re-roll that one.
Good. Use them all.
All right, let's try a completely different die. That is jacked. And it's 14 plus. That's a 19 to hit.
All right. How do you finish it off?
I imagine as I kind of pull the dagger out and just do that little and throw it. After I've aimed and thrown it, I just turn and look at Anna. I don't say anything. I just turn and look at her like when you bowl a bowling ball and turn away, and then just listen for that sound as it thunks into this goblin's throat. I start to walk away back past Anna, and then I go, wait a minute, I'm going to need that. And I'm going to go back and retrieve my dagger from this goblin.
Get mine while you're up there.
Yeah, it's in the same goblin, so I mean, might as well.
Yeah. I suppose.
All right. And you are out of combat. Where you are now, you see what looks to be a fresh, or at least not a fresh, but a much more newer brick wall with several holes in it. And it seems like these holes were kind of made as almost arrow slits, or at least kind of jerry-rigged arrow slits in this wall. Searching around, you see a door that looks to be barred from the outside, and it seems to be in the wall, and it's kind of right in front of you. To its left is a hallway that leads to what looks to be a metal, an old steel door. It looks, but it's more like rust than door. It's very, it looks very old. It looks pretty worn, and it seems to be scratched up and beaten up.
Okay, so we made sure these goblins they did not get away. I look at Bevyn. What did you want to do now?
Well, I wanted to take my time, but Somebody ran off chasing.
Oh, you saw they were running away. We don't know where they're going to get reinforcements. Are they going to get a bunch of goblins? More of those ugly dwarves?
We can
I kind of wave at his wounds.
We can also just go back.
And I say, and this is the kind of thing that happens when you get ahead of yourself, Six. Caution would be advised down here.
I've still got 7 lives by my calculations.
So,
there was that dwarf that ran up the stairs back in that other room. Did we want to go after him? There were other ways to go. I don't know. I'm not a rat. I don't like going through the mazes.
So, Mike, this isn't the same area of the sewers that we were in before, correct? On that
Correct.
First session? Okay. It sounds familiar, but I wanted to make sure this wasn't it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get like kind of a bit of an orientation as to where you think you might be, if you just want to roll an intelligence check, and we can just kind of help you out a bit.
I'm going to take a domain die on that one.
Be my guest. Take all the domain dice, and I'm just saying.
It didn't help a whole lot. Let's see here. 11.
You know what? That's enough. I was really looking for a 10 and above. So basically, what you're thinking of is, as you're looking at this kind of situation, it seems to be that since you guys came through a secret door, there has to be a main entrance. Looking at this incredibly rusted door, you're pretty sure, at least from spacing, that if you were to open that door, one, it would make an incredibly loud racket, as it seems to be so rusted it would be squealing like 1,000 rats trampled by your feet, and it would open right up into the main sewer. So you're thinking this seems to be kind of like what looks to be a somewhat main entrance, and I use that term extremely loosely. It seems to be that the main room seems to either be a waiting area or something of some importance, and the rest of the rooms just seem to be what they are. Strangely enough, the door that's barred from the outside is you have no idea. Sorry, not barred from the outside, barred from your side, which seems to have a pretty like a thick old piece of wood. Kind of like right in there, so you're not entirely certain.
So this reasonable to infer that these goblins are probably guarding this main entrance.
Yeah,
kind of kind of setup. Okay,
it is. It's pretty reasonable to assume that would probably be the case. And they use the noise of that incredibly rusty door to keep them from like sleeping or whatnot have you, and they can attack you.
Okay. So, I'll turn to the others then. Yeah, I think heading back the other way is the way to go. I don't think what we're looking for is going to be this way. And I'll reach down. I'll just kind of look over the goblins and see if there's anything on them.
But what about that barred door? Like, maybe we could take a peek, right?
Be my guest.
Then sorry if anybody couldn't really hear me with that. Didn't realize my mic was up. If it's okay with everybody, can I maybe try to carefully open that door?
I mean, I suppose it's not a bad idea to know what is on the other side of a door.
Just the barred one. I'm not going to touch that big metal rusty looking one. Or do you think you're a tabaxi. Do you have better hearing than us? Than the regular human? Do you know?
It is undoubtedly 100% true that I hear better than everybody here. I have no question about this. So if what you are asking is for me to listen at the door for you, I will gladly do this. I don't know if I hear better than everybody.
Okay. It's barred on our side. Now just bear with me. What if we knock on it? whatever's over there isn't going to be able to get to us. But then we could see if somebody's in there.
I would hold on a minute.
Okay.
I'm going to put my ear to the door.
All right.
And
Sure.
I'm going to do this thing with my cat ear where I kind of cup both hands around it and just kind of lean against the door and see what I can hear.
Not a problem. Make me a perception check. Now, with perception hearing, do you gain advantage on that?
No, I have a feature called Cat's Talent that gives me proficiency in stealth and perception.
Okay. Well, then you will have advantage then.
It gives me proficiency, not advantage.
Oh.
It's just, regardless of what my class is, I automatically have proficiency in stealth and
Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. I'm picking up what you're throwing down. All right.
And
cool.
I just rolled a 16, so that's a 19 perception.
So on the other side of the door, you can just kind of make out this groaning, but it's deep and it's guttural. It sounds like whatever's behind, there's something behind that door that is alive, that is probably big, that seems to be in a little bit of pain.
I'm getting I'm not entirely certain, but to be honest, I think this could be the way to the bathroom. Whoever's on the other side of these doors sounds like they are in a lot of pain. I hear a lot of groaning. I hear a lot of discomfort, to be perfectly honest. But given where we are, it's hard to tell other than just from listening. But if we go on the other side of that door, somebody's having a bad day. It could be them, it could be us, it could be a little bit of both.
Ooh, Would you maybe try to talk to them through the door? I mean, okay. I mean, we don't have to. We can do what Bevyn said and go back, but I mean, I'm very curious.
I'm not saying... I'm going to check something. Yeah. 6 is not the most intelligent. I had never actually thought about that, Asche. I like the new perspective you bring to this here. Hold on a minute. Hello! Hello, you on the other side of this door. Is everything okay?
Make me a dexterity saving throw.
As this is happening, Bevyn's been looking over these goblins, and he just spins around and just jumps towards 6 with just this. What?
Oh, speaking of which, actually, searching through the goblins takes about the same amount of time for 6's absolutely tragic reasoning. And what you find is you find a button. It's small and it's metal, but it's made out of metal that you're not 100% sure what it is, but it's really, really pretty and it's really, really shiny. And it has some small goblin tooth marks on it. Like this goblin was trying to assume what type of metal it was by tasting it, because that's what goblins do. You also find cheese that hasn't actually been cheese in probably about 10 months to a year. Also half eaten. You find what looks to be a moldy bit of bread. You find a particularly interesting looking piece of paper. It seems to be it seems to be kind of a piece of something. It's a piece of paper from either a book or something. It has some writing on it, but you can't really read the writing. And you also find a toe. You're not sure of where this toe came from or who owned this toe, but it's old and it stinks. You don't find any money.
So I rolled a 19 on my deck save for a total of 24.
Cool. You don't know what it is. You don't know whether it's just a reflex, or if you assumed this was going to go absolutely sideways. But you manage to step back from the door, and as you do, what looks to be the blade of a great axe goes shooting out and slams through the outside of the door. And you hear this grunting, and you kind of pull. You see this thing kind of pull, and pull out, and you see this creature's face. It's green, and not from its natural skin color, but mostly this creature looks sick, and it looks to be a half ogre who is really, really mad, but also really sick. Actually managed to throw up on the outside of the door. A little bit kind of spills out. It's kind of gross, and but it also smells like rancid wine.
Anna, it's for you.
No, I think you're doing an all right job. You should talk to it a little bit more. I think it really, really liked it. Maybe just get a little closer to the door.
I got a question. So we can see through the cracked, like there's a split in the door now, right? Or is the door split open?
Well, I mean, this half ogre basically took a great axe that takes a normal person 2 hands to hold. Held it in one arm, basically didn't split the entire door in half, but close. Yanked it out and is now staring out at the 4 of you, and sick.
But the bar is still in place?
For now.
But I can see it now.
Oh,
so I could, on the other side of the door, right where this thing is, cast a cloud of daggers if I wanted to.
Theoretically.
Wait. Look at the poor guy. He's sick. Just hold on. And Asche kind of approaches the door, not head on, but she just kind of waves a red hand so it can see her. Says, "Can you understand me at all?"
This thing kind of backs up, and you see the axe blade come through again, and this time it goes almost probably a good third of the way, or if not half, into the metal or the wooden bar that is kind of stopping the door from opening.
Oh gosh. Okay. In that case, can I try casting a spell on it?
Give her.
I'm going to try to reduce its size. So that'll be fun.
All right.
So
what does it have to roll?
Let's see. Let's see. It needs to be at least a 13.
It has to beat a 13?
Has to beat a 13.
Okay, and if memory serves correctly, because this thing isn't in the best shape. Oh, and wow. So I rolled a disadvantage, and I rolled 2 1s. Tell you what, so this thing doesn't save nothing. As a matter of fact, it sinks to its knees and begins evacuating the contents of its stomach.
And it shrinks.
And how much does it shrink to?
It is going to be halved in all dimensions. Until the spell ends, it lasts for at least 1 minute. Has disadvantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. Its weapons also shrink to match its new size and deal at least 1d4 less damage.
All right. So it goes from its large size now to a kind of medium. Assuming that would be a medium, or
yes, yeah,
small?
Medium.
Yeah. So one size smaller, it shrinks down, and you see it now kind of trying to break open the door. What used to be a great axe is now a battle axe, just kind of laying on the ground, and it's trying to open it, but I mean, it's got no no strength in any way, shape, or form. As a matter of fact, yeah, I thought as much. It can't do anything to it. It's trying to like reach out its kind of smaller arm, but it can only get kind of a hand through, and it's just in a kind of a pitiful state.
I'm going to walk up to the door where I can see it, and I'm just going to say, "You need to stop that right now!" And I clap my hands together, and as I do so, I cast Thunderclap in its face.
All right.
That is a Constitution saving throw.
Huh.
Well,
that's also made a disadvantage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a DC 15.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't make it.
It takes 3 points of thunder damage when I do that.
All right.
And oh man, I didn't think about this part. So as I do that, it also creates a burst of thunderous sound that can be heard up to 100 feet away.
No, we were doing okay.
My intentions were good. As I clap my hands
Something
together,
about
and
the
it just
road
goes.
Isn't there something about the road to Avernus is paved with good intention? And that's totally not I'm excited to run that,
Right.
that future one, which I am totally excited to run it. But anyway, yeah, and I mean it reverberates off of everything. Everything can, like, you're pretty sure anyone would be able to hear it.
Oh, great. Now all of China knows we're here.
The half ogre kind of like gets pushed off. I mean, well, it's not really a half ogre anymore. Now it's just a humanoid. Gets pushed off and kind of slams into the back wall, like slipping over a keg, which before it could probably crush in one fist. But it looks to be a small barrel of what you assume to be the wine that this thing was drinking. Flips over it, knocks its head, and kind of like is on the ground now, even more sick.
All right, you guys have had your fun. Can we get out of here now?
Well, okay.
Wait a minute. That thing is still alive. And I know magic a little bit. I don't think you you made it little for permanent, right?
No.
So it's going to get bigger, and it's going to be pissed, and it's going to come after us. Not to mention, I may have just inadvertently told everybody for quite a long ways that there's something going on down here.
Well,
Right here. So we should move before anything else comes and checks what made such,
I do have to agree with Anna on that. I can't keep this spell going on forever. And I mean, we can finish it and then have everybody come mob us because they heard that. And she looks at 6 and then back to everybody. Or we can just get out of here. We know where the entrance is. We can probably come back, right? If we need to.
If you absolutely needed to, you could. It's entirely possible.
Haven't you guys poked it enough? Let's just go.
So it's on the ground, right, Mike? It fell back into its
yeah, it fell back in, tripped over a barrel. It hit the back of its head off the back of the wall. It's kind of it's on the ground right now. It's puking its guts out. It's not feeling good. I mean, it doesn't even take a roll to figure out that this creature's obviously must have been poisoned for drinking like sour wine. And is not, doesn't have the iron constitution of like other creatures. So, I mean, this thing is just heaving its guts out. It drank, basically it's like it drank too much Fireball because it thought it would be cool.
Yeah.
And we've all, you see all the grins of the other players, chat. That's because we've all been there, except for me, because it was beer for me.
Bevyn's just going to start walking up to and past Anna. Let's go. And I'll turn back to the other two. You finish your business if you want to, but I'm not standing around.
Ashe would look to Six, and I'm sorry I made you do that. We shouldn't be here alone. And she goes to follow them as well.
Okay. And where are you guys heading back to? You guys heading back to the kind of that main area you were in before the start of the session?
I'm sorry, you're assuming that I'm going after them. I'm just kidding. I'm going with them.
I was going to say, hey.
No. I think once even Ashe turns and walks away, I'm just going to kind of look at this thing and just kind of, sorry about your ears. And your stomach.
It says nothing. It says nothing at all. Like it kind of just clutches its stomach and just is kind of in the fetal position now. Probably praying for death, I can only assume.
The poor thing. I always feel bad for that. Like, I know it's a big, scary ogre, and Ashe is just talking quietly while they're going back. But, you know, I'm a halfling too. I don't know. Thanks, Six. Thanks for trying.
Maybe this time it didn't work out, but I think you and I make a pretty good team. Don't tell Anna I said that. She kind of she kind of likes to work with me. I think she kind of looks up to me a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I can't say. I don't know. I'm new. I don't know. I don't know anything yet.
So as you all get back to kind of the main area, the mechanical beholder kind of laying on its side, kind of facing away, you see a strange sight that you didn't think you would see here. You see 3 kobolds kind of sitting there, but they seem to be smaller kobolds than you normally would associate kobolds being. I mean, kobolds are probably around the size of a halfling, maybe a little bit bigger, but these ones seem small, like very small and runty. And they're both kind of squabbling and chattering in their own language. And when they look at you, like their eyes kind of get big and they kind of hunch down. And you can see that these kobolds look like they've been like beat up. All of them. They look like they've kind of like been like kicked around or beaten or something. And they kind of look at you in their rags and their tatters and stuff. And again, not a normal thing. And then as soon as they look at you, they kind of beeline it to the left down where those like few stairs are into that other room. And this is the part where we're actually going to take a break. For about 10 minutes. I just want to thank everyone so far for joining us. And to answer your question, Cheswick students, yes. And that's why I don't ever drink Mike's Hard Lemonade again. And if you've never been sick on Mike's Hard Lemonade, then good for you, because that's awful. That's the worst. That's the worst. I'd take a sledgehammer
from Boone's Farm. So
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I don't even know what that is, but I could only. That's like the worst of the worst.
That's what it sounds like.
Well, Screech actually is the worst of the worst. If you're ever drunk on Screech, you don't want to live, like ever. It's the worst. It's the worst. You would. Yeah. It's. Oh my God. Oh geez. Oh hey. Finally get that chest shot I was hoping for, huh?
Oh.
Okay.
Well,
sorry.
If ever there was a time to take a break.
Indeed. But folks, myself being chestily endowed aside, we hope you guys come back in just a little bit, and we will continue without my ample bosom for all that glitters.
All right. If you're just joining us in the chat, stick around. We'll take about a 10-minute break. There is a promo reel that will run and tell you what kind of things you can expect to find here on Mini Terrain Domain, as well as a couple other advertisements. We will be back in about 10 minutes. Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is The Intermission. Mini Terrain Domain, or MTD, is a channel dedicated to the love of and participation in the world of tabletop role-playing games. Whether we're designing encounters or miniature terrain, building worlds or dice towers, or just playing games, everything we do here is because we love this amazing hobby. That is why the mission statement of Mini Terrain Domain is simply imagine, build, play. If you like to watch live play or actual play D&D games, you can do so at twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain 3 days a week at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays, you can join us for Cult of Personality, a long-running campaign set in the Tomb Annihilation adventure setting. On Mondays, you can join us for All That Glitters, a Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign guaranteed to be epic proportion. And every Thursday night, you can join us for Dawnbringers, the Forge of Fury. This is a series of mini campaigns going across the gamut of several well-known modules. Season 1, which is available on youtube.com/miniterraindomain, took place in the Sunless Citadel, and Season 2 is currently taking place in the Forge of Fury. If you can't join us in the chat for our live shows, that's okay. You can usually catch the roleplay, or rather the replay, on YouTube just 2 days later. If you're a fan of what we do here and you'd like to support what we do, there are a variety of ways you can do this. First, simply follow the Twitch channel or hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Next, make sure you follow all of the participants of each game or show on their various social media platforms. To do this, if you're watching live with us on Twitch, you can simply type an exclamation point and that person's name into the Twitch chat, or on YouTube, you can look down below the information bar and all of their links can be found there. Finally, if you would like to provide monetary support, which flows right back into the production of the channel so we can continue making great content, you can join the growing list of patrons on Patreon. Additionally, you can also use Ko-Fi or Coffee to buy a coffee or two. I like coffee. But the absolute best way to support the channel is to follow and subscribe on Twitch and YouTube and join us in the chat. If you have an Amazon Prime account and you link it to your Twitch account, you can subscribe one channel per month absolutely free. No matter what you decide to do, we are just happy to have you here. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more great content in just a few moments. Remember, metadata!
Hi everyone, I'm the YouTube channel, The Crafting Muse. Please be sure to go over there and check it out if you too would like to learn how to make some tabletop terrain, paint miniatures, as well as some game accessories. I'm always happy to have new subscribers over there.
Learn the ways of the Game Master, the Dungeon Master, and delve into the minds of the players. If you're looking for adventure, excitement, thrills, and a dice-rolling good time, grab the modules each month and play the campaign with your gaming group with quest givers DM Scotty and DMG. They're taking you on an epic journey through the role-playing experience every Friday. You're sure to get hooked on adventure.
And we really liked the idea of creating adventures together, so we thought that'd be a lot of fun to share with you guys.
I didn't think this kind of stuff would come out of my brain. We are quest givers, and I'll see you in the next video.
Adventure Mixtape, a music and adventure anthology, is a collection of 4 adventures for the 5th edition of the world's most popular role-playing game. The adventures are setting neutral and meant to be seamlessly dropped into any world that has a large seaside city and a jungle environment. With a bit of adaptation, the environments could be changed to suit any group. In Treaty of the Tiger King by Kelsey Dion of the Arcane Library, a distant king arrives at the city to negotiate the peaceful end of a war, but the mercenary guild has other insidious plans for him. Will the players be able to thwart assassination attempts against King Rami and help him negotiate circles of social intrigue in order to finally end the war? In Madness of the Majestic Menagerie by Ken Brees of Burling's Beard, the famous Majestic Menagerie draws hordes of visitors to the metropolis and cultural hub known since time immemorial as Splendor by the Sea. But now the gates of the famous zoo have been shut and the grand opening of the new section has been jeopardized by a spate of mysterious accidents and, it's whispered, grievous injuries due to uncontrollable creatures. Mr. Majestic seeks to hire investigators and troubleshooters who can keep a low profile to iron out any problems before the impending grand opening becomes a complete disaster. Do you have what it takes to uncover what's driving the madness that's befallen the Majestic Menagerie? In The Infernal Collection by Sharon Biswas, when an influential fashion designer is found dead days before a major fashion show, heroes are called in to solve the mystery, prevent any further destruction, and help the fashion house prepare for the show. Gorillas in Their Midst by Jacob W. Norman of Mini Terrain Domain is a pulp action adventure wrought with perilous challenges and a high possibility of death. But what is adventure without danger? Of course, there is the lure of vast piles of unclaimed treasure and the accompanying fame that await those intrepid adventurers who would defy the odds and plunge into the heart of darkness. In this adventure, the characters will face raging river rapids, wicked waterfalls, poisonous plants, venomous vines, sinking sands, treacherous traps, and the vicious jungle demon itself, Awakane Gori. Grab your satchels, fedoras, and bullwhips. Adventure awaits. The Adventure mixtape also comes with 4 original songs inspired by and written for the heroic adventures herein. This collection of music and story is something unique. We had no better word for it than mixtape. If you ever received a cassette, CD, or digital playlist curated to take you on a memorable journey, then you'll recognize what you find inside this volume. Also included in the Adventure mixtape, courtesy of Kelsey Dion of the Arcane Library, are exclusive combat cards. Special cards that contain all of the items, monsters, and spellcasters found within these adventures to make running your adventure all the more easier. Adventure Mixtape, a music and adventure anthology, is available exclusively on DriveThruRPG.com.
Cryforth, once home to the most wondrous kingdom the world had ever known, blasted to nothing in just a fortnight. It is here that the fiends of hell walk among us. It is here where all things die. Welcome to Cryforth. Demon invaders roam the landscape and have conquered all. The world is a ravaged and wrathful wasteland where the old world lies buried beneath the blood and sand with its gods and its secrets. Water is fought over with blood and steel. Compatible with the 5th edition of the world's oldest fantasy role-playing game, this book contains all new character creation options, including all of the familiar classes with new aspects befitting the ravaged wastelands of Cryforth, along with new backgrounds, subclasses, spells, feats, and so much more. New races will allow you to play as the cursed Asche Elves, the Forsaken Humans, the Primordial Incarnate, the Proud Orcs, the Reptilian Suri, or the Infernal-Blooded Tieflings. New game mechanics such as blood, grit, and effort give your games an intense focus on lethality and survival. Numerous role tables full of ideas to help bring your games to life. Featuring incredible thematic art by Brandis Gilhelm of Rulehammer Games, as well as Lone Collins. The people of Cryforth are not heroes. In Cryforth it is courage just to survive. Will you rise to face the tide of demons, or will you succumb to the hostile elements? Available now on DriveThruRPG.com.
And we're back. Sorry about that weird confusion with the audio over the break. When I was resetting everything, an extra audio file got in there and was playing over top of everything. I have tracked down the problem, and that will not be an issue anymore. Take it away, Mike.
Where am I taking it? What am I? All right. So as you come in to this room again, you see these three tiny kobolds. They kind of look at you with big eyes in that really freaking adorable way that cats look at you with big eyes when you think they're going to feed them. I think all cat owners know. Yeah, all cat owners know, like the big dilated pupils. And they kind of look at you hunched over, and they kind of turn to each other, and then they kind of skitter away. Kind of mumbling and talking excitedly in their own language, and then kind of take off down into the stair, like down those stairs and kind of into the darkness.
This place is crawling with all kinds of... I'm not going to go chasing after those.
There's definitely a lot more different creatures than I expected down here. Especially after having us announced that there's a weird presence in here, aka us, I also don't know if it's a great idea to follow them down there.
I look at Asche. You know, it could be worse. There could be humans down here. And then I turn and look at Anna. And then I go, oh!
Oh my goodness.
What are you calling a human? That's only half of me. And then she looks to Bevyn.
The human side is enough to be afraid.
Wait, does that mean I'm scary too? I'm half human.
You don't look like it though.
I definitely, yes. For the most part, and she looks at her red skin for a second.
And this is where Six died.
Do you think we should go to the other side?
We've been trying to avoid that this whole time by not dying. Oh, you didn't mean that other side.
You get Asche with that.
I don't even know what we were doing down here in the first place anymore. It seems like every room we go into, there's you go this way, and there's there's gray dwarves. You go this way, and there's a sick troll, and you go this way, and there's goblins, and over here there's these little mini dragon things.
Well, okay.
Quick recap. You were trying to find the Stone of Golor.
Thank you.
I mean, what is even the stone of Gondor anyway?
Careful, that's copyrighted.
What about you, Bevyn? What do you think we should do?
Bevyn's already moved past the group and is heading off to the right up the stairs, where the dwarf ran.
Okay, so there's no actual stairs. It's just basically it looks to be like a small kind of alcove that opens up into what looks to be kind of an L-shaped room. You see the stairway that kind of like a very quick little like an L-shaped staircase, that kind of goes up, landing, goes up again to a door. You see that door. You see little bits of rubble kind of strewn about, and then you also see kind of in the little kind of L part of the room, kind of goes off into like a wider kind of hallway. You see what looks to be an opening on the left and a closed door on the right-hand side.
Okay, I'm going to go up to the door and just listen at the door.
Sure. You hear nothing. I'm not even going to make you roll for it, other than perhaps You do hear kind of a little like light scratching, and of course, it would not take a roll to realize that it's probably rats, and not the large rats that you would encounter in a first level adventure either.
It's regular old rats.
Regular old rats, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna just slowly try to open the door.
Sure. As you slowly open the door, and it is not locked, you open it up, and it seems to be a storage kind of like a basement kind of storage area. You see a scratched desk, a few kind of chairs with some broken legs. Definitely, you can see a trunk, which actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Asche. I'm going to have you roll me a D100.
Oh, dang. Okay. Let's see what James has here. I know he has some 100s. All right. There's a 40, and then I need to roll a D10. Hold on.
All right.
That's the one. 45.
Okay.
No. What?
So, all right. So, that's what you see. So you got a trunk. You got a few other like busted pieces. You see what looks to be kind of an old painting. Very much an ugly painting, kind of off in the back. It's definitely collecting dust, and it's very similar to like, you know, a really bad Elvis painting. Not the kind of thing that an art collector would be looking for. But yeah, it looks to be mostly a room of junk. And of course, that big trunk that's kind of just sitting there.
So are we talking like full on paint by numbers on black velvet?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like the full on, like very, like it doesn't even look good to 6. And I mean, 6, you know, doesn't have the most discerning taste, but this is something that even you wouldn't pick up. The part as that food.
I have impeccable taste.
The part that the food kind of tumbled over your beard, just kind of that got it. That got me good. So yeah, it is. It's just an ugly painting. That is not something that you'd be like, I must have this. But yeah,
I'll check the trunk real quick before I.
Sure.
You know.
Sure. As you go to open the trunk, you do find that it is locked.
I will attempt to pick that lock.
All right.
My spidey senses are tingling in my thieves' brain. I'm going to use a domain die.
Please do.
That is a 17.
All right. You begin to fumble with the lock, and just as you think that the lock is going to snap your picks, you hear this kind of, and it kind of just opens up. When opening up the trunk, you do find a bunch of kind of old clothes. They seem to be kind of like almost like, sure, they were maybe fashionable back in the day, but it's like when you're a kid and you're going through an attic and you find clothes that were really cool in the 70s, but not so much anymore. So these, you know, definitely like doublets and brocades that used to be nice, but now most certainly are not. Flipping through though, you go through, you do find at the very bottom, kind of tucked away, you do see what looks to be a small pouch. Small coin pouch. Grabbing it and opening it up, you find 15 pieces of silver, and you find what looks to be a kind of a gemstone. It looks to be possibly a topaz. Your eye, as you can like hold it up to the dim light that's around, you look at it and it's like, well, you know, it's not the nicest, but you think you could probably get around 50 gold pieces for it.
Okay. Is there anybody else in the room with me?
I don't know. Is anyone else in the room with you?
I think that Anna would have followed you.
Me too.
So I pocket the gemstone and I turn and I toss the pouch to Anna.
Sure, you're gonna try and do that sneakily.
Yeah.
All right, make me a sleight of hand check.
I critically failed that, and I'll leave it be.
All right, then Anna, it's like he's not even trying, and you're not sure whether or not you should be insulted at the very weak attempt to try and palm it, or at the fact that he's trying to steal.
Let me back that up. My intention was to hide from everybody else. There's no way I'm hiding it from Anna. Like, she knows exactly what I'm doing. But I think that, like, as I try to pocket the gemstone, like, I toss this I toss the coin pouch to Anna, and I kind of wink, and she notices me, like, try to pocket this gemstone, but I completely miss my pouch, and it just, like, tumbles down my leg and rolls out onto the floor, like maybe right to Ashe's feet.
Ooh, what's this thing? And she reaches for it and holds it up. Bevyn? Right?
I look at Anna and I'm just like...
Anna just starts laughing. She's just getting old there, Bev. Fingers getting a little tired.
You know what, Ash?
Yes.
I have no idea what we're laughing at.
Sorry, what? What do you want me to do?
Interesting. Directly behind through the door, you see the opening, and you see another couple of steps, but these steps are broken, leading off into what looks to be a larger chamber. You hear from that chamber, you hear a voice, kind of deep and kind of booming. Go ahead, take what you want, but do come in and at least announce yourself to me. I know what you are here for. Come and get it.
You know what? I thought this was going to be a lot more difficult. But this sounds like it's pretty straightforward. And I start walking that way.
I grab a hold of Six by the fur on the back of his neck, and I just yank him back.
I do that thing where my arms just suddenly kind of hang limp when you grab a cat by the scruff, and I'm just like, I don't like what you're doing right now, but I can't do anything about it.
And I just turn and look, and I let go, and I just, and because this is coming from the where we came from, right?
No, this is coming from the room that you can now piece together, joins in on two sides now. Okay. So where the kobolds ran down, and then now this little mini staircase seems to go to the same room.
Okay. So I'll what I want to do is just creep up to the edge and just try to peek around the corner and see what I can see.
Sure. Not a problem. As you kind of look, it's dark in there. So I'm going to need you to make me a perception check, and it's going to be at disadvantage because your human eyes are having a bit of a tough time.
I rolled an 18, and then I rolled a 19. So
oh, nice.
21.
The light from what looks to be where the dwarf was working on the mechanical beholder seems to have shined through just enough for you to kind of get a dim kind of perspective. You see the three kobolds kind of moving around, but it appears that they keep moving away from something. They keep kind of like running off into corners and stuff. You think that there's probably an individual in there, and based on that roll, that voice sounds very much like the three individuals you fought in that previous room.
Wait, which individuals?
The three Duragar that you fought in the other room. They sound very similar.
My name is Larry. So you know what we're here for. Why don't you just go ahead and hand it over, and we'll be on about our way.
I promise to get this stone to the great Xanathar. You are not going to take it from me. It is my glory to bring to him.
I didn't want to take it, but I thought you could just give it to me.
Step in and take it.
Good.
So
We don't know what it is yet, right?
What?
The voice, basically, we don't know what kind of creature or human or whatever it is.
I mean, you can't get a physical, like you can't get an eye on that individual. You can't see who that person is. And wow. Hi.
Okay, so thank you, Wormwood Gaming, for the raid with
that's
anywhere from 65 to 95 people. So
wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's an extra domain die for the raid. So welcome everybody who is suddenly coming smack dab into the midst of our Waterdeep Dragon Heist. And Wormwood Gaming Wormwood Gaming has just dropped 500 bits, which gets us another domain die. Wormwood Gaming,
Billy Bogota just dropped another
500. Thank you. Wormwood Gaming was one of our sponsors for Jasper's Game Week, and also
awesome.
the Jasper's Game Day event. I know they popped in at one point and also donated to that. So thank you for the raid. Thank you for the host. And we're going to get back to playing our D&D game. So please do stick around and enjoy, because I think we are about to run into a little bit of trouble. Take it away, Mike.
All right.
Bevyn, I will. I'm going to go ahead and Thieves Can't signal to Anna what I can tell from the room. I'm going to just draw my bow, and I'm going to knock an arrow and draw it and step out with my arrow pointed in the direction of the voice that I was talking to.
All right. So as soon as you step into the doorway, this whatever creature has been waiting and has been holding something and is going to throw. Ooh. A javelin comes, kind of like splits the darkness as it comes shooting from this darkened room and does hit you, taking 7 points of piercing as it goes into your shoulder. And now we're going to roll some darn initiative. So
as the javelin hits him, I just suddenly look over. This is not going to be as easy as I thought it was.
I just kind of spin back to the corner where I was hiding with this javelin sticking out of my shoulder.
I'm going to use one of those domain dice to reroll my initiative.
Give her.
Oh, good. Instead of a 5, it's a 9. So that is a what is my? So that's a 12 for me.
All right.
I have 10.
Okay, so and what did you get, Anna? Oh, here
I
we
got
go.
an 18.
Nice. Because Anna is on the ball all the dang time. So just between Asche and 6, who has the higher dex? Would it be?
I got a +3.
+2, so it's 6.
Okay, so. Okay, and then 6. And sorry, what did you get, Bevyn? Like total?
10.
Oh, so then now do you have a +4 or do you also have a +3?
I have a +2.
Oh, to dex?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then it would be between Bevyn and Asche. I'm not going to make a total ruling here, but what would you think? Like you're reeling from a shoulder injury.
Yeah, I would say Asche goes first because I rolled a 3, but I have with all of my special powers, I have a +7 to initiative. So
gotcha.
That's why I had a 10. So I will go after Asche.
Sounds good. All right, Anna, because you're always first, because you are in like godlike in your abilities. What do you got?
She is going to rush past Bevyn, and she's going to look into this room. I think this is the first time she's actually taken a good look in. She's going to see if she can see where this guy is.
Sure. Going inside, you see what looks to be kind of one. It looks to be a very plain room. There's not a lot of. There's like a little bits of scattered detritus here and there. You see what looks to be a single chair, like not necessarily a throne, but possibly, but a chair for someone of importance. Behind that chair, you can see this Duergar, this kind of well-built, well-muscled Duergar, kind of peeking behind, holding a javelin. You see the 3 kobolds kind of look, and they begin, because it's a free action and they're cute and adorable, they begin to scramble off just into the darkness. Like they just run away because they're cute. And that's basically what you see.
Okay. And sorry, how far away?
You'd have to say from where you are, because you hopped in. You're probably about a good 35 feet away from the kind of center chair, which looks to be kind of in a kind of a bit of a like 2 or 3 steps up. So kind of like a throne.
All right, so Anna is going to use the rest of her movement, and she wants to be able to be within 20 feet of this Duergar, if possible, and she's going to just chuck a dagger directly at him, preferably his facial area.
Wow, that's very specific.
Yeah, I'm going to use the domain die because I got a 2.
Give her.
Okay, that is a 5, so that is not much better. So that's going to be an 11.
An 11. The dagger sails past the Duergar's head, and it kind of ducks down. In retaliation, the Duergar, this Duergar, you could see it rage and get like just angry, and it begins to kind of grow in size again. And it begins to almost fill the room, and its head just almost hitting the top. It is now a large, very angry creature. So that ends its turn. 6, you are now up.
I look over at Anna. Why would you throw 1 dagger when you can give him a whole cloud of daggers? And I gesture and make this motion, and seemingly out of nowhere, spinning daggers begin to fill the air all around this Duergar as I cast Cloud of Daggers. He won't actually take the damage until he starts his turn there or enters it for the first time. But he will, at the start of his next turn, he'll take 4d4 slashing damage. I'll go ahead and roll that up, though.
Sure. Okay, so then basically this kind of area goes a bit murky and dark and mist, and this creature, he begins to kind of like get confused and look around, and just in time for Asche to be up.
So there's a cloud of daggers. They haven't struck yet, but they are kind of making it difficult for this thing to see us, right?
No, I mean he can see just fine.
It's basically like, imagine all these daggers are spinning all around him.
Yeah.
He can see just fine, but as soon as he moves, he's going to end up hitting them.
Okay. Crap. I was thinking of something cool. Okay. So, I'll go with it regardless. Seeing him get so large. Well, I was thinking of maybe making him smaller. But man, that would be a harder target to hit with those dang daggers, right? So instead, she's going to cast Scorching Ray. So I create 3 rays of fire and hurl them at the target. And I need to roll a d20 for each ray. And let's see. Make a ranged spell attack. Yeah. That was a 12, 17, and 17.
All right. 2 of those hit.
2 hits. All right. And on a hit, the target takes 2d6 fire damage. Let's do that. First one is 7. Oh, crap. And the second one is whopping 9.
So 16 points of damage.
Yes.
All right. So the Duergar kind of reels back as these kind of like these lasers of flames, just kind of like rake across his chest, and he just howls in pain. And as he howls in pain, that's almost a signifier for you, Bevyn, to go in and take your move.
All right. So, is there anything else in this room we can see, or is it just the big?
It's very plain. It's a very Spartan room. Basically, the chair looks to be a chest, like a really small little chest at the back end of the chair. And
okay. So I'm going to continue moving into the room, but move to the opposite direction from what Anna did when she moved in. Again, with my bow drawn, and when I reach my edge of my 30 feet movement, I will loose an arrow at the Duergar. So that is a 17.
All right, that hits.
Okay. That is 7 points of piercing damage. Where did I hit him, Mike?
You probably hit him just like in one of its thick leather armor. You managed to find a couple of spots where 2 overlapping plates or 2 overlapping leather leather plates kind of opened up a bit. So you kind of got him probably in just around the kidneys, not quite the liver, but you heard him. You heard him good.
Right. And I'll call out to Anna just to point out that that's a weak point in the armor, and cast help with my bonus action. She gets advantage on her next roll.
Sounds good. You got it. Which is really interesting because we bring it right back up to the top of the round with you, Anna.
Anna kind of smirks as she hears this advice from Bevyn, and she's going to just rush him with her rapier and try and hit that weak spot. Okay, that 24.
That hits. That definitely hits.
Did you roll with advantage?
Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, I could
20.
get a... No, that's a 2. Never mind.
Still, 24 is nothing to shrug at. All right, so what kind of damage is this guy getting?
All right, so that's 10 points of damage.
Nice. And he reels back as you hit him, but he's angry now. And so he has, like, in his hand, he has his war pick, and
he takes 6 points. He takes 6 points of damage from the Cloud of Daggers on the start of his turn.
I just want to take my bonus action to disengage.
Sure.
Or wait, does she have any movement left? Sorry, I'm bad.
You should have movement left because when you moved over to him, like to engage in melee, you were probably about 15 feet away. So you still have another 15 feet.
Okay, so yeah, she's gonna disengage for her bonus action and kind of step back 15 feet.
Perfect. And sorry, how much damage?
6 points of slashing from the cloud of daggers as soon as he starts his turn.
Oh, nice. And kind of trying to swat at these daggers that are just zipping around and slicing him more. You see cuts appear all across his face, cuts appear on his arms and his hands, and he's just enraged. He beelines it right toward you, Anna, and as the only person that he can possibly see, and he's going to make some attacks in a very, very, very angry kind of way. So the first attack is going to be a 15.
That does not hit.
Okay, and he just biffs it, just kind of swings, but he comes around again to try and strike you again. And that's going to be a 21. Yeah.
That'll do it.
That'll do her. All right. Give me one quick sec here. Yep, that's what I thought. I need more D8s. And he hits you for 12 points of piercing damage as that sinks right in, like right past your armor, hits you really, really hard in the side. And then we go on to 6.
As he breaks through the cloud of daggers and goes towards Anna, since I can't move the cloud, I just let it dispel, and all these spinning daggers just sort of fall to the ground, but they never actually hit. They just sort of fizzle out before they hit the ground. You hear a shing as I draw my rapier, and with my left hand, there's just as my claws extend, I charge toward him, and I'm going to make a couple of attacks. And I'm going to use a slashing flourish as I rush towards him and sort of leap through the air and almost do like a Zorro type flourish, which that's going to be a 18 to hit.
That hits.
And the slashing flourish, as a reminder, lets me expend a bardic die. I'm going to mark that. And then roll the bardic inspiration die, which is still a d6. And add that to the damage. So that's going to be 4 on top of the 10. So 14 piercing damage from just the rapier. And I'm going to follow through with my claws.
I'll tell you right now, what you did was enough. That first thing was enough.
I'm still going to follow through and rip his throat out.
Darn. Because why not?
And I got a 16. Nope. I got a 13 on that.
All right. So this is what I see happening is that as you kind of go in with your first hit, he dies and his body automatically starts kind of shrinking back. So as you try to like rake out his throat, he's already shrunk down. So your hand kind of like whiffs over his head and you just kind of push him right to the ground. It's the Duragar's kind of milky white, already dead eyes for some reason look even more dead, as whatever color you could have possibly pulled from this gray dwarf is pulled away from its body. And it rolls its pick kind of spinning away to the corner of the room, and it lays dead.
I immediately turn and look at Anna. Are you okay?
I'm all right. I'm all right. She kind of stands up and attempts a smile. Let's just get that rock and get out of here.
Are the kobolds still in the room?
No, you don't see them at all.
I think they skittered off like around when we started.
I wasn't sure if they'd hid in the darkness or.
I mean, you could try and search for them in the room. Like I said, it's a pretty Spartan room. So
yeah.
I mean,
oh, okay. Does he have it?
Well, I mean, searching his pockets.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, you're the one holding the body, or at
I'm
the
not
body.
holding the body. As soon as he hit the floor, I turned to check on Anna.
So then I'll run up to him and check him then.
Sure. Patting him down, you find not too much. You find what looks to be a scattering of different coin. Matter of fact, you even see a few coins that have been sewn into kind of like a shirt that he wears underneath his armor, possibly saving it for a special occasion. You manage, as far as money-wise, you manage to pull 15 gold pieces off of the body. And you also find a stone. You find a stone that seems to have what looks to be 3 black marks or 3 slashes on it. It feels kind of warm in your hand, but not in such a fashion that you're not sure if it just radiates with magic or what's going on, but it feels a bit warm in your hand. Possibly the Duragar's been holding it, trying to get it to work. Apart from the stone, you find like maybe an old half-eaten turkey leg kind of stuffed into his pocket, saving it for later, you can say. And you do find what looks to be a small brass key.
Seriously,
I'll turn to the group and I think this is it.
I'm not paying attention. I'm looking at Anna. Are you sure you're okay? You seem to be bleeding a bit.
6, can you do that healing thing again? Oh, I wish I studied healing magic.
Are you hurt?
What, me?
Yeah, you.
No, I'm okay. That I usually like a long range kind of fighter. I'm good.
I am pretty sure you are just trying to be tough. Look, it's okay. And I pat Anna on the shoulder, and you get 12 hit points back.
That actually works.
You might notice that 6 is still bleeding a little bit from wounds sustained earlier.
Oh, why didn't you
not too
bandage
bad.
yourself, 6?
Okay.
You can heal yourself, right? And we can get out of here. Make sure you don't. We got to go through the sewers again. Make sure you don't get that crap in your cuts.
I am okay. I have, like I said, I have 7 lives left. Bevyn, so we got the Stone of Gondor, or whatever it was, and we can go now. Yes.
Is it Golan? Nope.
Gwendolyn, Gwendare. Honestly, I was not paying attention.
Neither was I.
This is what we came for, but I don't know anybody see anything that needs a key to unlock?
Good Lord. Maybe that big rusty door, but from the other side.
Anna's immediately, at the mention of a key, and because she's feeling better, going to stand straighter and immediately look around for anything that is a lock.
I mean, you do see there is a small chest at the back, like at the base of the back of the chair. It's not terribly big, just about the size of a football, football-sized small chest. Yeah.
She would have. Sorry. She would immediately point that out to Bevyn.
It looks like it needs a key.
You think it does?
I tossed the key to Anna.
Anna would go, not that I would need this key, but it does make things a little quicker. She's going to go and bend down by the chest.
You find looks to be kind of a little bit more sparse of a coin box for this Xanathar kind of outpost. You find 105 copper pieces, and you find another like 13 silver pieces, kind of all mixed up together.
You hear an audible sigh of disappointment from Anna.
You found someone's penny jar, and you know what? Look, I mean, some people really, feel that that's a big thing for them.
I think the chest is worth more than what we found here. But did the key open it up? Like, was that what looked to be?
Yes, it was. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Right. Let's get out of this.
We found a stone, and that was what, and I'm going to say a name. And if it's right, this is going to be a moment for Six to absolutely just come out of nowhere with something. Because I don't have any notes on this in front of me. But we found that stone, and that's what that, what is the Lyra Silverhand or something like that wanted? Was I even close?
Because Laryl Silverhand, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm like,
Six just pulls it out like.
But Six got the name right.
Yeah, that's what
meta-wise,
meta-wise,
I'm surprised. I mean, geez.
Let's get going. I don't want to be down here anymore.
I think I'm with you on this one. It's very disgusting down here.
All right, so then which way are you guys headed? You have the way that you know. You do know that there is the door that the dwarf had run out of. So you do know there's that area. You can go back the way you came, back through the delicious, delicious raw sewage.
Not a fan of the Shite River, but I don't think there's anything back there. Seems like it might be a little bit safer.
Maybe, but you remember the other way with the giant half ogre. I kind of want to go back the way we came, just to. Yeah,
I think that's different. That's opposite ends of where you guys have been.
But I think isn't that what you were saying, Bevyn? You wanted to go back the way we came.
Hi.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're already covered in blood, and snot, and shit. I don't think it matters. We have to walk through it again. Let's just get it over with. I'm going to have a bath after this, and you know how much I hate water. I am not licking my fur after this.
That's a good call, and I don't want a visual.
Kind of grossed myself out with that one.
There you go. So as you all begin to go back out through the secret entrance that had got you into here to begin with, you do see, of course, the secret entrance or the kind of strange-looking, very similar opening on the other side. As you turn left and kind of walk through the Poop River, what I need all four of you to make me another Constitution saving throw.
I'm going to use a domain die.
Me too.
I'm going to eat that one. That's a 5.
Critical on
all right.
Nat 20 on the second one, which makes it it was a con save. 22.
Yep. Cool. And how about you, Asche?
13.
All right. So I just need to. Okay. And I just need to make a note. We'll totally make that note. So, right. And yeah. Okay, so you eventually wade through, make it across the stone bridge, back up the stairs, and you are back where the air smells significantly better, at the corner of Carter's Way and Spectre Walk in the Southern Ward. You, the four of you, smell awful. As a matter of fact, as you come back out, it is late afternoon, and the people who are kind of walking give you a not surprisingly incredibly wide berth. Quite a few holding their noses, a couple of them gagging, as they kind of walk away from you as quickly as possible. But in your pocket, or in one of your pockets, you quite possibly have a very powerful artifact that will lead you to an incredible, vast fortune that rivals any king in not only the Sword Coast, but possibly all of Faerun. And it's here where we're going to pick up next Monday. And I want to thank, of course, my incredible... Yep. Oh.
Are we going to... I just want to check with everybody before we broadcast. We're going to be here next Monday. Next Monday is Memorial Day in the States. So I guess that only affects 3 of us. Does that cause a conflict for anybody?
Shouldn't be a problem.
I'll be good.
Okay. Never mind. Carry on.
All right. And we'll have some awesome Memorial Day gaming. But I would like to say thank you so much to the people who have joined us today. Huge, massive thank you to Wormwood Gaming for that incredible raid. You guys are champions. I love your products. And one day I will afford your products because I'm not going to lie, I have been wanting a little die roller or one of your dice trays.
I do have a dice vault that was gifted to me.
Go ahead. Yep. You're just going to go ahead and shove that in my face. That's fine. That's fine. You're a jerk. Yep. Okay.
But I'm with you, Mike. I would like to have a rolling tray and actually, you know what I want is their new thing. I think they're kickstarting it, but
is that the hex?
The little hex things that magnetically connect together, and they've got the dice jail that they call the Bailey Brig, named for Laura Bailey.
It's lovely. So for all of those of you who are watching, who are thinking about, check out wormwoodgaming.com. I mean, go ahead and have a look. This is not a sponsorship in any way, shape, or form.
Not a sponsorship.
I think I have a woodworm one here as well. Has a dragon on it.
Very lucky.
Awesome.
I think this is James. It's his.
But I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to bring it back to James, or I'm going to bring it to Jake, whose Twitch channel I am so very kindly running this campaign, this mega campaign. For those of you who don't know, this is actually going to be run first in Dragon Heist and then Dungeon of the Mad Mage. And I'm going to see how much I'm going to put these lovely character sheets through a wood chipper, and we'll see what comes out on the other side. So
to be perfectly honest, I'm surprised that 6 has survived this long.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised too. But I'm going to bring it back to Jake. Jake.
Yeah, so as Mike said, this is Mini Terrain Domain. I am Jake, also known as @MTD_Jake on Twitter, that is my primary social media platform. I also run the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Mini Terrain Domain, where you can find the VODs of these very episodes. So the previous 21 episodes of All That Glitters are up there. If you like what you're seeing here, because I know quite a few people came in and stuck around with that raid. If you like what you're seeing here at Mini Terrain Domain, you can tune in every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern for All That Glitters Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign. Or you can tune in on Thursdays for Dawnbringers. We're in the tail end of our second season, which is the Forge of Fury. But you can catch Season 1 and Season 2 on the YouTube channel as well. Season 1 is Dawnbringers, The Sunless Citadel. Season 3, which will start sometime in the next few months as we wrap up Forge of Fury, is going to be set in the Ghosts of the Salt Marsh. Not sure where exactly yet, but I DM that particular campaign. And then on Sunday nights, returning possibly next Sunday, probably next Sunday. With the holiday, that's kind of tricky. And I hate saying that because it's been a while since we played that one. But Schultz of Personality, our Tomb of Annihilation campaign that Mike is a player in, Megan is a player in, along with Connor and Marquise. And that is I think our next episode, when we do finally play, is like 43 or 44. We've been playing that campaign for well over a year, and they're all up to just recently hit level 9, and we've only had a couple incidents along the way with death, and one feeble-minded character. So yeah, and then there'll be a lot more new content coming up this summer. Just a reminder to everybody watching, if you find yourself ever in a place where you need somebody to talk to, or you find yourself in a point of despair, you can simply type !help, and that will bring up the National Suicide Hotline, where you can find a trained professional that will be willing to talk to you at 1-800-273-TALK, 1-800-273-8255, or you can text 741-741. Mini Terrain Domain is a now ever partner with Jasper's Game Day. The donation bar down below the channel is currently set to funnel any donations that come into the channel directly to Jasper's for the remainder of the week. And you can also purchase Metade roast coffee. That is a partnership with Initiative Coffee Company, with $3 of every bag purchased going to benefit Jasper's Game Day. I want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. As Mike already said, thank you Wormwood Gaming for the huge raid and host. Thank you to Gamers Theater and EverJ for resubbing, and of course Chessick Student, our moderator, and everybody who tuned in tonight. We appreciate you so much. And of course, thank you to Mike, Cassie, Dwight, and Megan. I hesitate on your names because I want to say your character name as well as your real name. But thank you to everybody. And we hope to see you here again on Thursday. Until then, we're going to end the stream the same way we end every stream here. And you can say it with me if you want. Metade.